Let's replace this real quick and just check on how many glow lichen we got. Oh yeah, it's more than we'll ever need, so I'd say that this was a complete success. Now, that being said though, you might notice that I have some tall flowers over here. Well, as you notice, I don't have access to dyes. And from what you've noticed from all the white and black is that I really don't have any dyes or any real deviations from white and black generally speaking, other than the first floor. And so we're gonna fix that problem by making ourselves a tall flower farm. What up, my roomies, and welcome back to the technical guide to Minecraft. And well, we're over here at this like really small sheep farm. I'm aware that I don't really need it per se, and come to think about it, I don't really need to use these sheep anymore. But I decided to just breed them for a future project, and upon saying that out loud, I realized that thanks to some of the previous episodes, I don't really have to do that anymore. Oh well. Today, we are going to go ahead and make ourselves a tall flower farm because my base is in desperate need of some color. And as much as I like the monochromatic look of it, it needs some life. It needs some color. It needs a little bit more pizzazz, as like a company of the modern age would. But in order to do that, we need to get the base colors first, and base colors being the tall flowers. And so, welcome to KiguCorp, where safety is a concern. So over here we have ourselves just a sunflower. And like all the other tall flowers, when you put bone meal on them, it'll basically make more of itself. And you can go on and on and on and on and on. But we don't want to do this the manual way. We want to do this the automatic way. But how do we do that? Like all the other systems, we're going to use a sticky piston observer to make a really quick observer clock. And at the end, we have just a humble dispenser. And the dispenser, of course, is going to be filled up with bone meal. And by doing so, we'll dispense a lot of sunflowers without us having to do anything with it. But here's the thing, it's very messy. And having to manually collect all the sunflowers is really, well, not ideal. So how do we address this problem? Well, through hopper minecarts. See, hopper minecarts can actually pull items through solid blocks. So if I would have just dropped this on top, you can see that even though this is a solid block, not like a honey block or a soul stand block, you could use a hopper minecart instead. But this is kind of a bit bulky. How do we condense this further? See, if you were to delete the rail underneath it, the minecart is technically not a block, it's an entity. And so what can happen is that if you were to put a piston right on top and then activate it, it pushes the block. And so both the block and the hopper minecart are both sharing a place so that it gets absorbed into the hopper without it being 3 high. Now it's just 2 high, and we could use this to our advantage. See, over here we have now combined the observer clock with the dispenser and a dirt block with a hopper minecart in it. And by encasing this with glass, all we gotta do now is just fill up the dispenser, and thus we can cleanly collect all the sunflowers without any of the yield being lost. And all we need here is just some bone meal, which we have a bunch of thanks to the Wither Skull farm. And with using this, we can then do it for all the other tall flowers, for the lilacs, for the roses, the sunflowers, and the peonies. And all we gotta do is just fill in the dispensers with bone meal. And with a quick pull of the lever, all the tall flowers will then start generating more themselves. It's really that simple. For those that want to play around with this, there's going to be a world download and a schematic in the description below. And with that in mind, let's head back to the technical guide world and get to it.
Quick interruption. I noticed that only 12% of you are actually subscribed to this channel. Watching this long, I must be doing something right, so if you like this video, hit that like button and please subscribe to this channel. Any support helps, and these videos take a bit long to make. Thank you so much, and back to the video.
I'm like so used to doing a sheep farm in order to do the next project that like I forgot that I got spawn eggs a couple of episodes ago, which will make the next part a lot easier, but like, oh well. Spent a lot of time just slowly making the sheep population grow and realizing that I don't really need to do that anymore, do I? Without any further ado, let's get down here and start building this tall flower farm. that we're done building this thing, we gotta go get ourselves some bone meal, which thankfully we have a bunch of because of all the visits that we went to with the skeleton farm. Grab one of these things. Man, I love that system. And then we're just gonna load this tall flower farm up and get ourselves a bunch of tall flowers. Okay, it seems like we have used up the entirety of the bone meal from one shulker box, and bear in mind that the yield of these tall flower farms is dependent on the amount of bone meal there is, because it's a 1-for-1 ratio between bone meal and tall flower yield, because one bone meal equals one tall flower, and we're only using one shulker box, so the yield is going to be not as big as all the other farms, just because we only use one shulker box for the sake of example. So let's go down here and then just turn this machine off simply by pulling this lever. The observer will go down and the dispensers will turn off. And so if you look inside these shulker boxes, we have almost a full row of stacks of lilacs, almost a full row of stacks of roses, a little bit short on the peonies, which again harkens back to the fact that we only use one shulker box for the entire farm, and almost a full row of stacks of sunflowers. And as far as these dyes go, it's pretty good if all you need are these colors. But what if you need more colors? What if you need to expand your horizons to have all the colors in Minecraft? And by all the colors, I mean all 16. The interesting thing about Minecraft is that with the exception of brown, because brown you can't make by combining colors, is that you could create all the different kinds of dyes within Minecraft simply by combining the primary colors. The primary colors being, of course, red, yellow, and blue. But you might have noticed that we don't have blue as a tall flower. And, well, you're also going to need at least one other color, blue, which you can't get from tall flowers, at least not yet, or none that I know of. And while we can get lapis lazuli from the villager farm, because lapis turns into blue dye, there might be some of you out there who might not have a villager farm as robust as mine. And some of you might not even have access to tall flowers. And so this begs the question, how can we address this problem of getting red, yellow, and blue dye in order to make all the different kinds of dyes without tall flowers or villager breeder? Through a regular flower farm.